Disclaimers again. Okay, fabulous. So, hi everybody. My name is Kelsey. I am a professor here at DiviNation Academy. I am so happy you're here with us tonight. Tonight we are doing full moon ceremony in Aries. This is the first full moon ceremony we're doing, so there's going to be lots of education first about what the full moon is itself, and then every month going after this, I won't do quite so much education on the full moon, and I'll focus way more on a lot more practice for you guys. Um, but first, so happy you're here with us with DiviNation Academy. If you've never been with us before, definitely come and check us out. We are a free pagan academy. Like we believe knowledge should be free and accessible to all. So we have lots of fun classes and lots of different topics that you can check out. I'll drop some links here into the chat. The first one is going to be our YouTube channel. We have so many different topics you can look at. I think we have like over 100 videos right now. So you can definitely take a look at that for sure. We have our website where you can learn all about us, the certification programs we have, the private apprenticeships we offer, our study guides, our resources, bibliography pages. That website has so much on it. If you've never looked at it and you've been a student with us, definitely go and look at it. And then you also have our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is where you're going to find us to be able to enroll in the academy. So just shoot us a message there and an admin will reach out and get you enrolled so you can be a part of our community. And that's also how you can get access to classes and knowing when things are going on. So definitely take a look at all of that. And then the other thing that I always like to disclaim is who I am. So again, I'm Kelsey. I have been a solitary practitioner my entire life. I have been practicing magic, witchcraft, paganism, all of that, spirituality, all of that for like over 15, 16, 18, 19 years now. So it's been a long time. Everything that I do has been learned through multiple different masters, multiple different teachers, lots of study. Lots of learning through multiple texts, multiple paths, and pulling from multiple different pantheons. My magic is very purifying. You will feel that tonight. It's very healing, very purifying. That energy will come across for you. And everything that I do is very ceremonial. It's very energy based. I write every invocation for you guys. I write every prayer, every spell, everything personally. So everything that I do has my energy in it for you. So I really hope you guys appreciate it and it works for you guys. If it doesn't, I will never be there. Okay, so we'll get started with what we're doing tonight. So we're doing full moon in Aries. So what is a full moon at first? Like what is the full moon at all? Like we need to know why we're even celebrating the full moon, period. So the full moon, simply put, is when the moon is completely illuminated in the sky. It's when it reaches its peak in its lunar cycle, and it's when it reaches its full expression. So the full moon is the most powerful time of the entire lunar cycle, because the full moon's like fully expressing itself. It's fully there, it's fully present. You're gonna get the most energy from it that way. You're gonna want to be fully engaged. You're gonna feel the light of the moon energize you. It's your harvest. This is your harvest time. This is for harvesting, especially like internally, bringing internal, external. That's a huge part and a huge theme when it comes to that full moon, because the whole theme with this also is going to be releasing, which we'll really go over that. Part of the full moon is you're really gonna take note of like any epiphanies that you're having during a full moon specifically. Those epiphanies are gonna be rooted in something that was probably seeded during the new moon and now is coming to fruition. It's coming to the end of the cycle. It's coming full circle for you at the new moon, at the full moon. So really pay attention to anything that comes across that way. You're gonna want to harvest and pay attention also to your external success. Like what you did, those seeds you planted during the new moon, like those external successes that you're seeing, they matter. Be grateful about them, celebrate them, harvest them, notice that they're there. And then just simply enjoying life during the full moon, like fully expressing, like enjoy and every single emotion that you can to celebrate life. This is your most powerful time for healing as well, healing yourself and also giving blessings to other people. If you're a caregiver, a caretaker, like now is going to be a time where you're really going to feel like that need to really give. So really hang on to that, really hold on to that, and hold that. The full moon is an absolutely perfect time for releasing things and letting go. Like truly, fully, heartedly letting go and radically accepting what's going on with that while you release it. I think we have somebody that is muted, so hold up. If you're not muted, everybody, I'm just gonna mute it. That fixes that. Now it won't be a problem anymore. Yay! Okay, so where was I at? So fully radically accepting. The reason why I say you're able to really fully radically accept with that is because it's a full illumination. That's the whole point of the full moon. So it's really bringing things fully into light for you. It's really bringing things from every single side, very dialectically, from the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, from the new planting the seeds to the harvesting the full moon. Like you're really going to fully have that illuminated for you. And it's perfect time to shed what's no longer serving you. Like truly shedding what no longer serving you. Looking at it very deeply, very internally, understanding fully like what is harming you, what is no longer serving your highest good, like your absolute highest good, and fully like releasing that, shedding it, letting go of that later, breaking through any facades or ego that you may have in place that needs to be removed. So like that's perfect time for this as well. A full moon also occurs when the sun and the moon are in the exact opposite positions of the zodiac. So noticing that and paying attention to that as well, because you're going to feel that polar opposite pull. Like you're going to feel that polar opposite pull at times between what season you're in and where the full moon's actually sitting. So sometimes right now it's not so intense, but it will be soon because we're about to hit Libra season. We're in this. Actually, we might be in Libra season already. I apologize. We're in Libra season already. So it is actually really intense already right now because that sun is very opposite of the moon. So you're going to feel that polarity. When it comes to like foundations of just full moon, like what basic correspondence, basic things are, because obviously you're going to fine tune full moons just the same way you would a new moon ceremony and ritual and how you do your new moons based on what sign it's in. But for the foundational pieces of full moons, the themes, like I said before, it's gratitude, making sure because it's super big on release, but also the harvesting. It's also that celebrating. So it's also that gratitude. So making sure we're not forgetting that piece and not only focusing on like the release part. Other themes are your results, focusing on what you actually have harvested, like I said, from what you planted, those seeds of intentions during the new moon, what actually has come to fruition. That's another theme as well, shedding, illumination, harvest, and releasing. This is also more associated with the yang energy. So the new moon's more associated with your yin energy, and the full moon's more associated with your yang energy. Aligned activities with the full moon. So what is going to help you harness that energy? What's going to help the moon feel honored? What's going to help you enter that archetype? Are going to be activities like, of course, making sure to charge your tools. You do that every moon, full moon. Making sure you get both of the lunar cycles is super, super important. Charging and making your moon water, that is super important. I don't personally work with coven magic, but I have heard from those that do that coven magic seems to be much more potent, much more beneficial for people during the full moon versus the new moon. I'm going to assume because of full moon, like I said, the illumination, it's full, you get that full expression, and then you get all that connectivity. That's going to be a lot of energy in one place. But like I said, I can't personally test to that because I don't work with coven magic. Other activities will be aligned with this is making amends with others. That's part of the releasing and letting go. So making amends with other people that you need to do that with. Celebrating life, like I said, doing releasing rituals. I've written quite a few for you in the study guide. I'll run through them as well, but you can do anything really to release that you feel works that way. Cleansing, full moon, super, super, super fabulous for cleansing. And scrying. I get some of my best scrying, especially with mirrors and fire scrying during the full moon. I get some of my best responses during the full moon because that energy is so full, that energy is so potent, that seems a lot easier for me personally to channel it. I'm also I have a very strong affinity for the full moon as well. I'm a little biased. I like the full moon more than new moons. No, you should like them both the same, but personally I do. Another awesome thing to be doing right now is like more oracle reading for your tarot cards rather than doing the arcanas and things like that. Grounding, charging your crystals, cleaning your physical space, like cleaning your physical space out with intention. Not just cleaning it just to clean it, but making sure you're intentionally cleaning it so that all of the energy is being removed as well as simply cleaning. So making sure that that intention is very much there, connecting to nature. Bathing in moonlight. If you've never bathed in your yard naked underneath a full moon, I highly suggest doing that. The energy you will get and you will feel and the connection you will feel is absolutely astounding. If you're not comfortable doing that, totally fine. I get that. You can still be clothed. You can still bathe underneath the moonlight, and that is totally going to work and it's totally fine. You also want to make sure that you're drawing down the moon, the same that you do with your new moon. Make sure you're honoring it. Make sure you're drawing down the moon. Make sure you're recognizing that she's there. Property protection magic. I find my property protection magic almost always needs to be reset by a full moon, and that seems to be where I can harness the most energy to make sure every corner of my property, all my circles are cast, all my protections and seals are in place. So this is a great time to focus on that. Shadow work, just like the new moon, it's just another aspect that you can look at for shadow work. It's a different angle that you can look at it from. Like I said, more of like the releasing, the radically accepting, things like that. Making sure you're setting out a full moon altar. You don't have to change it that much. You can change it just for the correspondences. Otherwise, just making sure your altar simply is getting moonlight onto it. Some people can't move their altars, and I get that. Mine, I make sure mine's movable so I can get it in front of the moonlight when I can. If you can't, at least just getting your crystals moved into the moonlight or whatever tools you use. Everybody has different tools they have affinities for, so just making sure they at least get underneath that moonlight. Creating a release or manifestation box. I've done this a couple times before. It's pretty nice because it ends up being a specific container just for the full moon that you get to release. Cord cutting. I find this is when it's most effective for me is during the full moons because full moons are all about releasing and radically accepting and bringing that stuff fully to illuminate for you, bringing it fully to light. So that cord cutting seems to have a lot more potent energy and intention with it then. And then money spells. I hear from both sides that you can do them new moon and full moon. I personally have had a lot more luck with money spells and abundance spells in the full moon because of that energy. And because I keep it then for that entire lunar cycle. I don't stop it at the new moon. I keep it that full lunar cycle. So that's another thing to look at it. And then one thing to be super intentional about, do not set new intentions now. Now is not the time to start something new. Now is not the time to set new intentions. That's a different energy. You're going to come at it very differently if you set it now. That's just the best way that I can explain that. The energy is it's going to try to help you and it's going to work against you if you try to set new intentions right now. Intentions that you can really focus on for the full moon are going to be reflecting, releasing, unwinding, expression, forgiving, connecting, illuminating things that need to be shown to you within your shadow self. Two key mantras that I almost always use for every full moon, no matter what sign it's in, is I release any patterns, behaviors, and things in my life that no longer serve my highest good. It's specific, but it's also broad. It also lets you look at every single aspect that you need to in your life. Another one that I always like to make sure that I'm bringing in because it's releasing while also not really setting an intention, but making yourself open. So I'm not afraid to let go and I'm open to receive joy, abundance, and love. Because you have to create some type of balance. You can't just release. You have to make sure you're also open for something to come in. You're just not setting the intention for what's to come in. You're just being open to whatever is going to come after you release what you're going to release. So that's a little bit of the difference between that full moon opposite and the new moon. The new moon's very intentional, very specific. You are making those dedications, whereas the full moon is you are being very open to what is going to come to you based on what you release. Some correspondences to look at for it. This really goes to where like decorating your altar more. So candle colors are going to be blue, white, yellow, silver, and orange. Herbs are going to be jasmine, mugwort, lemon. balm, bay leaves. You can also use bay leaves in a lot of spell work, and you can use bay leaves for releasing. A lot of times what I will do is I will write what I'm releasing on bay leaves, and then that's what I'm burning instead of paper. It's fabulous, the connection that that makes and it brings to the earth. Also because of the correspondence, the tie that it has to the moon itself. Some oils and incenses that you can choose to use if you work with that. Not everybody does, but if you do, are going to be rose, jasmine, sandalwood, and frankincense. Some crystals to work with are going to be moonstone. I always like to use moonstone no matter what sign the full moon is, because moonstone really connects like power and energy, abundance, and good fortune, and it really just draws to the moon itself. Laburnite is another good one to be using now for intuition, also astral travel and psychic abilities. You also have goldstone that you can use for creativity, abundance, and for removing blocks specifically. That's why I like this one for the full moon, because it's really good for specifically moving blockages. And then you have selenite for cleansing your aura, mental clarity, and psychic abilities. I use selenite for both full moons and new moons. That one's pretty universal. I do have a list of some full moon affirmations in there for you. You can go over. Some of those I will use like when we're going through like the circle. So you'll get to feel some of those come through while I'm having you guys sit kind of like in a meditative state for the full moon circle and energy tonight. I do also have some full moon prayers in there for you. And then I have some full moon gratitude rituals. Like I said, I make sure that we show gratitude and celebrate as well as releasing. You want to make sure you honor both sides of that energy. I love the one that I put in there. I do it all the time. It's really simple. You don't really need much. Rose quartz is a crystal you can get pretty easily, and most people have it. So you write 3 things you're grateful for on a piece of paper. You fill up a bowl with water and you put a piece of rose quartz in it. You add the piece of paper to the water. If you can't leave it outside, that's fine. Try to leave it outside if you can, but I leave it outside. You can do overnight for 1 night. Otherwise, I typically leave it out for the full 3 nights because I honor the moon for the full 3 nights that you have access to that energy. So you can do 1 or 3, but you leave it out overnight. The next morning, allow that paper to completely dry completely. If you can leave it on the altar while it's drying, great. If you can't, that's okay. And then burn it while you're meditating on the list. And then if you can, put the ashes back to earth and receive it back to the earth. I recommend doing that. If you can't and you're not comfortable doing that, that's fine. Some people don't like burying things back to the earth. I totally get that and understand that. And then for releasing, a really simple one that I have in there, all you need is literally an orange or white candle, piece of paper, and the willingness to sit in meditation. So you set up your altar, your sacred space, or your container, whatever the word is that you use for it. You light an orange or white candle. If you work with oils, I recommend to anoint that candle. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. Not everybody works with oils. You write down your 3 biggest stressors, elements, habits, or people in your life you wish to let go of. So you really do the shadow work to figure out what those 3 things are. You place that list underneath a candle and you light it and you sit there in a meditative state until that candle decides it's done burning. If that means that it burns for the whole candle, it means it burns for the whole candle. If that flame goes out sooner because it decides to go out sooner, that's when you're done. That's why for this one, I recommend using smaller candles and tea lights. I wouldn't do a big tall one. You'll be there for a while. But that one, it works fantastic. And then again, releasing everything back to the earth if you choose to. If you don't, then just make sure that you're, releasing it properly the way that you want to. I have a full moon protection ritual in there for you as well to take a look at. That's for grounding. The reason why I like having the full moon protection on there is sometimes the full moon, the veil is a little bit thinner. And so there can be some interactions you're not aware of going on if you're not fully aware of that psychic ability around you. So I like to just always do a protection for myself and for anybody around me who may not have that awareness. So that's something that I put in there for you guys as well. I have a full moon release invocation for you as well to be able to fully harness and release things as well as a spell. So you guys can take a look at those and you can choose what's going to work for you, what you want to be a part of your practice, what you want to be a part of your ritual, what you want to be a part of your ceremony. Trying to look to see what else I need to say about the full moon itself. Okay, does anybody have any questions about the full moon right now at all? Like the full moon itself before we dive into what the full moon in Aries specifically is?
There may be a couple of questions in the chat.
That's been not moving for me, so weird. Haha! Is the immense piece for full moon in general or this Aries? No, it's full moon in general. The immense piece is full moon in general because full moon in general is all about releasing, letting go, radical acceptance. So full moon in general. The Aries moon specifically, that's going to focus more on finding you, yourself, your power, standing in yourself. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a little bit. But yes, that is for full moon in general. Will the rose quartz be affected by sunlight? You know what? That's a possibility I didn't think about. I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna get back to you on that, Danny. I'm gonna put that in the chat. That actually might, you're right. That might be. I'm gonna
I've
look at
heard
that.
that it is.
Yep, I think you're right. I think it is. So, huh, I take that back. Don't leave it out there for the full 3 nights. Bring it in. If you want it out there for all 3 nights, bring it in during the day and put it back out. Because you're right. You are thank you for pointing that out for myself specifically too. I've been doing that, leaving that out. So no wonder some of my rose quartzes have gone a little brownish after a little bit of time, and then I have to replace them. So thank you for pointing that out. I learn something new every day. Okay, any other questions?
Is tonight the beginning of the 3 day that it's a full moon, or is that tomorrow?
It depends on where you are in the world. For me, it's the peak. So for me, my full moon started last night. Tonight's the peak. Tomorrow is the third night for me. I know that last time we did like new moon, Andrea said that like her peak was like a day after. I know some people said their peak had started like 5 hours before mine had. So it really depends on where you are in the world. And I also believe that that's a really big reason why we have that 3 day period as well. So that you can get connected globally and as a collective unconscious because we are in different places.
Thank you. I'll look it up for my area.
Yeah, there's a lot of really awesome apps that you put in your GPS location. It will tell you like to the minute, like where you are. It'll tell you when you're at 1%, like 100%, and then the second that thing moves and changes, it'll let you know. Maybe in the next moon study guide or on the website on my resource page, I'll just put a list of some good apps that people can use.
Great,
What
thank
I do is I look on Google and I type in what is the moon rise and what is the moon set. For me, it's in Ottawa. So wherever it is you are, you can put it in and it comes out with that chart that shows how much the illumination of the moon is. And it has the days and how much when it rises and sets.
Oh, that's fabulous. I didn't know Google did that too. I didn't know that. So that's cool. That's awesome. Of course Google did that. It's cool. I should have assumed. Like moon phases. Moon phases is a good one. That is a good one. Moonology is another good one I really like. I really like moonology a lot. And then can't remember. I know the icon. I can see the icon in my head right now, but I'll look up the name after this. So any other questions on the full moon itself before we head into Aries? That as we are good to go. So Aries full moon is a lot of energy. If you feel tired right now, if you feel almost overstimulated, if you feel a surge right now, I definitely can understand that. Aries is a lot of energy. This full moon really aligns with taking bold and courageous action. It really aligns with truly standing in your own power, truly believing in yourself, Aries is the mantra in the astrology chart, and it ties to the identity of I am. It is very, very much solid in your own relationship with yourself. This energy helps you be super confident, and it helps you take action as a leader. Aries is known as a sign of a warrior, so very gung-ho, very confident, very courageous. Aries is also a fire sign. It's a cardinal sign and it's a personal sign. So it's like I said, lots and lots and lots of energy. Aries is a high energy zodiac sign all in its own. So you can feel super, super motivated to take action right now. I think it's absolutely fabulous as this energy is coming right after a Virgo moon, by the way, because you did all the planning, you did all the super, super detail oriented, like looking in, and now you have that huge action push, that huge motivation, that huge energy coming at you now. So I think it's absolutely fabulous, super great divine timing. I love it. Full moons are super, super emotional. So those emotions that you're feeling right now can inspire you to action with that Aries motivation there. So that's another part that you're going to start to feel. You're going to feel emotional, but that emotion is going to inspire you to action. It's going to inspire you to change. It's going to inspire you to forward momentum. Another thing is we have to make sure that we're not being too impulsive right now, though. That is the other side of Aries. Aries can be very impulsive. You want to do, you want to act, you want to do all these things. You have this motivation, so you're just going to do it. But you're not going to think it through. So make sure that you're really focusing on that, not letting that overpower you, and that you're not going to regret it for going forward. Another thing to look at with this and those two ideas together is taking on too much, because you get so much energy to want to motivate, move forward. You commit to a lot and a lot right now, and then you end up regretting it because you make those impulsive decisions. You end up getting exhausted later. So really be careful about that right now. Aries is also the first sign in the zodiac, so super associated with new beginnings. And we're coming to the end of the year. So that's a very duality energy that you're going to feel right now. This energy with Aries tied into the full moon, tied to us being towards the end of the year. It's very a coming full circle energy. It's a very coming completely around. It's very like fully harvesting, coming up and through. So that's a very, like I said, it's just a really big energy right now. So while full moons are associated with endings, Aries is with new beginnings. So you have that polarity, you have that pulling against each other. You want to move forward. So this might actually end up showing like the beginning is the end of something. So your new beginning is actually going to be something ending for you now, pushing you forward into that new beginning with that motivation energy. And that's like that full circle energy you're going to feel. That's how it might represent into your life. So for example, like I'm trying to think career-wise. So you get super gung-ho, you get super motivated, you want to go on to this new thing, your new career, but that means that you have to end something right now you really love. So you're going to come to an ending with that, but come full circle to move into that next phase, that next movement, that next motivation. We can also focus a lot on our own identities when we're in Aries, because Aries is about I am. So you get to really, really focus on, are you struggling to like actually be true to yourself? Have you been struggling to do that? And if you've been struggling to do that, why? How can you eliminate the habits that are no longer serving you to cause you to struggle with truly being true to yourself? There can also be a lot of like extra frustration with this around the full moon, because there's a lot of energy and you're wanting to open up, you're wanting to connect, you're wanting to make amends, you're wanting to let go, and then people aren't accepting and rejecting you. So just be really careful of that. Just because you want to make those amends doesn't mean they have to accept it. And that also doesn't mean that you didn't do what you needed to do to fulfill and harvest this full moon. So I want you to like just be really careful with that. With there also being a lot of energy with Aries, and Aries is a fiery element. Aries is a fiery sign, and it's a very personal sign. Just, I really also want to caution, it can be kind of full of anger. You can get explosive. It can be a lot. So be very cautious with that. Make sure you're grounding yourself. Make sure you're not letting that energy make you be abrasive, make you be abrupt. make you come off very blunt, and then it's going to stop with that communication. It's not going to be able to help you make those amends and be able to make you radically accept and move forward with those that you need to. I did put some blurbs in there specifically. You guys can kind of go over that with the leadership and the confidence piece specifically of Aries, because those are very key parts of those, and those will go into detail for you on your own. Everybody has their own form of leadership and their own form of confidence. So just, I really kind of want you guys to focus on that more with your own shadow work. So focus on those two topics a lot with Aries. Correspondence that it comes with Aries and the full moon. Themes are going to be embracing enthusiasm. You want to move from internal to external. So things that you've been stuffing, hiding, pushing down inside, they need to come out. They need to come to fruition. They need to be illuminated. They need to come out. Like, you need to move them from the internal to the external. Again, like, leadership's another key correspondence and theme. And then standing in your own power, like really stand in that I am, your identity, who you are, being true to yourself. But again, don't be abrasive about it. It's you want to make sure that you're doing it, but you're not being abrasive and overrunning and overruling other people. It's associated with the plants that it's associated with, specifically with Aries. With the full moon are going to be honeysuckle, cayenne, yarrow, impatience, thistle. The element is fire. The chakra it's attached to is going to be your solar plexus. So if you do chakra work right now, it's going to be a really good time to do any solar plexus activation and focusing to see if that is out of balance at all. Allies that it's going to be attached to that you may want to work with archetypes alongside the Aries energy while it's here are going to be Leo and Sagittarius. And the symbol is the ram. I have some other crystals in there for you to use. They're specifically for Aries, not just the full moon, because before we went over full moon in general. Smoky quartz. You have smoky quartz, aquamarine, laburnite, and carcillion. I have the reasons kind of why on there for you. And then let's see, we have more stuff kind of in there to help you guys with invocation, shadow work, correspondences for altars and spell work that you may possibly want to do. I also have some shadow prompts in there for you guys to go through that specifically focuses on Aries. Those aren't full moon general, those are full moon in Aries shadow prompts. And then let's see, that's all. I think I have everything so far for Aries. Do we have any questions about Aries and the full moon? Because the next thing that I have is I'm just kind of going to go over and teach you guys kind of about fire scrying and gazing. That can be a very long thing to do, so I'm not going to do that with you right now. You could be doing that for 5 minutes. You could be doing it for an hour. It depends on how that message comes through to you and how that works. So does anybody have any questions on the full moon in Aries, how that can work with you, what that energy means, any ways to get it attached to your altar or spell work? So any questions on that now? Go ahead. I will take that as a no. I will take that as a we have no questions. I kind of like it because it means I either talk a lot and I put a lot in my study guide and I'm just educating a lot, or it just means, I don't know. I don't know what else it could mean. I'm just gonna go with that one. Okay, so fire scrying. Has anybody done that? Like, you can just put a thumbs up or like raise your hand like that. Has anybody used fire gazing or scrying as a divination method before? It's not a common thing I come across very often. Take that as a no. Okay. See, that's not very often I find other people who use this as divination. So nope, nope, but it sounds intriguing. It is. I love it. I just caution, don't try to get, I'm not a pyromaniac. That's not how I love it. I just love it for the divination effect. I don't want to go burn things down. And I always be safe with fire. Always, 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 always be safe with fire. That's my disclaimer. Make sure you're in a safe place. Make sure you don't have things around you that are going to catch on fire. If you're going to fall asleep, just don't do it. Like, always be safe. That's my disclaimer on that. Just always be safe. So when it comes to fire scrying, it's a form of divination that is typically used, and it's really, really simple. It's typically used just by staring into a flame of a candle. You can use a candle, you can use a bonfire, even in pinches when I have need to. I have sat there with a butane torch and a lighter. Whatever gets you a flame, whatever you're comfortable with, if it will work for the amount of time that you need it to work for. Um, I personally try to use candles because when I am fire scrying, I can connect the colors to whatever correspondence of archetype energy I want to bring in. If I'm trying to attach to a deity as well, like that's personally why I like using candles. I do bonfires though as well. But it's like I said before, it's typically just staring into a flame or a candle to receive images, shapes, or messages through your third eye. And it's really just a psychic ability. It's something, it's really just you being able to use divination. It's you really, really concentrating on those flames, on the fire. It's putting that intent, it's putting your energy in there. It's really, really calling it in while you're in a sacred space and a container. Um, it's so the way that I do it is I make sure that I have all my supplies obviously in my sacred container first. I make sure that I know what intention I'm going into my fire scrying for. So for example, if I'm going into shadow work, typically I will grab a black, white, or red candle, sometimes all three, sometimes just one, sometimes just two, just depends on what I'm feeling and thinking. I can do multiple flames. I've been doing this for a very long time. I recommend starting with one. It's a lot of concentration to do multiple flames, but I would recommend starting with just one. Um, like I said, I gather my supplies. I make sure then I set my sacred space, I set my container, whatever that means for my intention, whether that means I need to make sure that I'm invoking and bringing a deity with me as well, if I'm bringing an archetype energy, if it's simply just setting my sacred space in my container as if I'm meditating, as if I'm sitting at my altar, just whatever that intention is, I set that container, I set that sacred space. I then will light that candle while doing the invocation, while doing the spell or prayer that I have chosen to do for that. I do have a basic invocation of fire I put in here for you that will just basically start to connect you to fire. That's where you want that connection to start first, is with the element itself. Um, and then once I do the invocations and things, that's when you're literally, you are there. You are sitting there. You are connected to your energy. You have lit that flame and you are staring at it with the absolute most intention that you possibly can have, holding on to your sacred container, holding on to your sacred space. And you are watching, you are looking, you are channeling, you are asking for shadow prompts within your meditative space as well. You can do it out loud, you can do it internally. I prefer doing out loud because the universe is going to hear you either way. The deities will hear you either way, but out loud just gives it more power, with confidence, as well. And then while you are doing that, you are looking into the flame, looking for images. You are watching what that flame is doing. Depending on what it is doing, that will be the correspondence that it is giving you. I did put a cheat sheet in here for you guys so that you know. So that you can kind of start to learn to figure out what they are. So you can kind of start to learn. So if your flame kind of like you're asking the question, it's very still and sudden, and all of a sudden while you're doing your question or doing your intention, it dances, it waves, it gives you like this kind of high, this kind of spirit, this kind of like fun little hello kind of thing. It means that it favors what you're doing. It means that the message that you're getting, the energy you're doing, it's going to favor you. They're willing to help you. They're going to help you succeed. You're going to like that is a positive answer that you're receiving. If you're getting like more of like a very iridescent, like pearly white color, it's going to be more like good lucks and blessings are to follow. Double flame means that there's actually a second person present. There's somebody else that's actually involved. There's some other energy that's influencing what's going on. So you may actually need to take care of something on the side before you can move forward with whatever question you're asking or the intention that you're setting. You also will need to look at what your wick is doing. You will need to look at how the wax is melting. And if you see specific images, if you see specific words, if you see specific messages, if you're getting specific feelings coming to you with when you are doing this and with your intention, it is the same type of intention as if you're reading tarot for somebody, as if you're doing runes, as if you're scrying in a mirror for yourself. That is what this intention, that energy that you are doing with this flame is. Like I said, you can do it with multiple questions. You can do it with one. That's why I said this could be something that takes 5 minutes because you get the answer right away, or you could be there for an extended period of time. So it just depends. I think the longest time I've sat in one is maybe 2 hours. But I had a lot that I was working through with that, and the flames were very much talking to me that day. But again, like I said, just also disclaimer, make sure you're safe with your fire. Make sure you're safe. Please make sure you're safe with your fire. Any questions on that? I don't really want to go into like everything a flame can do and what it can mean. If I need to do that as one of my basic classes that I do on Thursdays, I can do one on fire scrying. That's totally fine. Or I can do multiple different types of scrying as well. But if there's any questions on that, I'll take them now. Otherwise, we'll move into me just calling down the moon for you guys, the Aries energy, and calling in a circle. That's kind of all we're gonna do for the energy work tonight.
For fire scrying, do you recommend doing it outside? I'm just like, I don't know if the wind messes up what you're seeing or.
It depends on where you're located. Like that's really hard because
Yeah.
I'm in Minnesota, so I can experience the 4 seasons in 1 hour, in one day, multiple times. I could have 0 wind and the next second have like 50-mile-per-hour wind. So it just depends on your weather. It depends on what's going on in your environment. A lot of times when I'm fire scrying, I'm not outside though. A lot of times I'm in my meditation room or I'm by my altar, or sometimes I've been in my car because it's something that I have going on and I'm just not at home. But typically I am indoors, but you can be outside.
Thanks.
Where are we going to find this information? Can you clarify what you mean by that? Where are we going to find this information? You mentioned you posted it. Are you talking about the study guide I've been talking about? Yes. Okay. So if you're a student with DiviNation Academy, that has been sent out to everybody already prior to this. I did put it in the chat here as well. So let me see if I can just copy and paste it and send it again for you in the chat. Okay, that should be it. But if you're not a student with DiviNation Academy, this is a big reason why. Definitely send us a message and do it, because you get access to all this stuff ahead of time. You get access to mentorship groups. You get access to all these resources. So definitely, if you're not a student, send us a message. I think I saw another question. Is there one ritual you recommend most for Aries in this specific Aries energy right now? Ooh, that's okay. You've got to have a lot of energy going on. Aries was going through huge life changes and lots of challenges mixed in. I would recommend for sure doing a release. I would do a release ritual. For sure. I would release anything that is causing you like those stressors, those huge life changes. I would release anything that you need to within those huge life changes, and then make sure that you're open to receiving what needs to make it more positive. And as an Aries yourself, you really need to ground. You need to ground a lot this week. You need to ground a ton during this lunar cycle. So I would really focus on grounding for you and shadow work as well. This would be really, really a perfect time for you personally to do shadow work on releasing specific. And really, really standing in who your true identity is. So do shadow work really a lot on what your true identity is, because you are going to really be able to harness that right now. Does that help? Thanks. I've done so much journeys. Yes, I love it. Shadow work, if I could live in it, honestly, I probably always would. I love self-development and personal development. If I could live in shadow work all the time, I would, but that's not living in duality, so I can't. But yes, I love it. And the self-reflection, it really makes a big difference. It really, really does. Side on that, I really appreciate that you've read the study guide prior to class, like being able to put that right in your component as awesome. I will make sure that I keep making sure they get it done ahead of time. I'm pretty good on that. If you've been with me before, I'm sure you've heard me say I am a double Virgo Capricorn with six houses in Virgo. So detail oriented, I plan ahead. Usually I will always have it to you ahead of time. If I don't, something absolutely ridiculous has happened. And it's been life. So yes, Virgos. Sorry. We get a bad rap, and I always love when I find another Virgo because they're really bad. And we're the caregivers of the world. So it just sucks. Yay, we're Virgos. I love it. I have an Aries moon. Things have felt, yes, they are going to feel very intense for you. I'm not surprised that they haven't. If you have not done a salt bath, try doing that. Or essential oils bath as well. If you work with oils, not everybody does. But if salt bath, try doing a salt bath for cleansing. That will also help you ground a lot for that really, really intense energy. And then make sure again that you do a release ritual so that you can get some of that energy moving as well and it doesn't stay blocked or stagnant. So really make sure you do that because you're gonna get overstimulated. Aries are definitely gonna get overstimulated this week. So really make sure you guys are grounding. Okay. Any other questions or comments or anything else before I call in our circle? Ooh, that is an interesting mix. You are all over this. That is interesting. I'm a massage therapist and I see a ton of clients each week. Mhm. I believe the protection spell I put in there should really help you actually. Otherwise, making sure for protection, you work with crystals, you can have some crystals on you. I would wait until after the full moon's like peak though. I don't like to keep crystals on me when the moons are peaked because I just feel like the vibration is just too much for me personally, and then they're not being charged. Um, but if you work with crystals, I would keep some on you for protection and grounding. And then, yeah, like I said, I did put that protection ritual in there for specifically for Aries energy. That is specifically for Aries energy. So I would do that a couple times if you can and if you have time. It doesn't take that long. That one's a pretty simple lot of intense energy all around. Yes. Yes, yes, it is. Yes, I get that. Yes. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to make sure I have everything ready and go in front of me here, you guys. I want to make sure I have every invocation and every prayer that I wrote for you guys ready to go. Because like I said, I write them all for you. I do everything. Everyone's new. They may sound similar to other things that you've seen or heard. Because like I said, I pull from so many different places. I study from so many different pantheons, so many different religions, so many different paths that it may seem similar to what you've seen or done, but you're not going to find my stuff like anywhere. So don't hold me to like a textbook. Everything that I do is very personal for you guys. Very, very personal. But it is also still very ceremonial, so you will feel that. So give me a minute here, guys. I will set my container and we will get going. call to the spirits and guides, each and every soul in this circle. I call for you to come surround us closer. Circle us with love, protection, wisdom, and connection this evening as we gather to celebrate fullness, expression, and the illumination. This is an event we'll witness no more than 1,000 times with our eyes in our life. May it never, ever, ever lose its magic, its energy, or its wonder. And to the gatekeepers of the four directions, I thank you for turning your gaze towards us this evening. We honor you. We thank you. Call to the direction of east, element of air, visible winds, the light and dawn and the rising sun above the mountaintops, the first rays of the morning sunlight. I invoke you, air. You're the movement in my life. Be the exquisite flow of energy. And teach me to move with ease, within and without, above and below. And keep me untethered and unbound to any circumstances, fears, or feel as you swirl and rise all around me. And the winds shift and they move. I honor my breath, and I honor the life force that is within me. It's within you. It's within everyone. Guardians and the gatekeepers of the element of air, I see you. I summon you. You are here, and you're holding the eastern gate tonight. Guardians and gatekeepers of the direction of south, I call to you. Element of fire. Element of fire, the candle flame, wildfire, the boisterous passion, the movement, identity control of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Specifically Aries, I call to you. To the element of fire, to the dry heat and desert winds, to the burning of forests, to the erupting of volcanoes. You are untamed, like the passion of lovers. You know the power of one touch on bare skin between souls. You teach us fire to kindle our flame, to burn bright and to burn long, and to never be bound by boundaries or rules. You burn all around us as your flame grows brighter and brighter. And I learn the power of absolute fearless expression and expansion. I honor the fire burning so bright within, and I honor the courage of my wild spirit. Guardians and gatekeepers of the element of fire, I see you, I summon you, and you are here holding the southern gateway. I call to the direction of west, the element of water. Raging rivers, deepest oceans, quiet bubbling creeks. I call to you, water, as the waves rise above me and the depths that push me. You compose me, I am you. The waters and the rivers that expand and connect us tonight are here, that connect us to our mothers, connect us to our children, connect us to the earth. Water feeds us, you nourish us, you bathe us, you cleanse us, but you can also drown us. You're the cycle of life. Water, teach me to move with the tides, to swim gracefully against them. To be not bound by desire to seek land or shelter, but to be able to stay afloat in trust. I swim with you all around me as the waves rise, and I learn the power of my intuition. I see that my entire being knows how to completely surrender and trust into you. I must. I know how to cry when I need to release and let go, especially on this full moon. I honor my absolute deepest emotions tied to them. Guardians and gatekeepers of the elements of water, I see you and I summon you, and you're holding the western gateway. I call to the direction of north, the element of earth, Mother Gaia, and all the continents floating across the ocean. Silent, sacred day. I called to the trees, I called to the wilderness, I called the animals and every teeny tiny big bad creature of all kinds. Expansions and uncharted spaces, places that we've never even touched and explored. The wild and free places where your elements completely find their home. All the places I have lived and died, all the places I have walked on this earth, my ancestors and their bones that reside within you. The dust and the life you all hold for us. Teach me, earth, to hold and expand my feelings. Teach me and hold grace and depth. I'm not bound by the fear of my own strength, but I'm able to trust that I can hold on to it, since you are centuries old and miles long and still here. I ground and I bury and I root as you are all around me, and as I age and I learn, I trust that my roots are deep enough to support the expansion of my branches and my fruit that I put forth into the universe. I see that I am capable of holding more than I think. I know how to stand my ground, and I know how to send down deep into the things of the roots that I cannot hold. Guardians and gatekeepers of the element of earth, I see you, I summon you, and you are here holding the northern gate. I call to the guardians and gatekeepers of those above, ascended masters and teachers, deities, the universe itself, other interdimensional beings. I call to the gatekeepers and guardians below, those who have passed, those of the underworld and the afterlife, other interdimensional beings, to the parts of us that we no longer want to see. I call to all of you here to please hold this circle and hold the gates open for us as we honor the full moon. Okay. Energy and circle should be open. I hope everybody can feel that. I'm gonna let everybody sit in this for about a minute, kind of silently, and let you feel the energy of the circle kind of connect to you. Start to think about how the Aries moon feels for you, how it's going to be showing up for you, how you would like it to show up. Once I feel that everybody's connected, I'll call down the moon for us and do the invocation to get the full moon present. Say a prayer for her, and we will release and let go. So right now, everybody please just try to connect the full moon, the energy, the circle that's been cast for you, purifying energy that's being sent forth for you. Focus on really what you want to release that no longer serves you. I want you to call forth and make sure that you're open to receiving your highest goals. Try to call forward and surrender all of your fears and doubts. Biggest stressors in life, your biggest challenges in life. Call and allow life to flow through you freely. Call for all obstacles on your path to be effortlessly removed with ease and grace for you. Call forth to release all pain and suffering as a means to be able to grow. Call forth being open to receiving abundance and opportunities that are flowing forth to you. Call forth the ability to release all beliefs and relationships and people that no longer serve your highest good. Call forth to let go of all that is not in alignment with your soul's purpose. Call forth and allow yourself to receive all that you desire. Call forth and activate the river of joy that flows through you. Call forth and activate the gratitude of everything you harvested, the seeds you planted in the new moon to now. In this full moon, we request divine energetic assistance to help us sever all cords to anyone or anything that consistently lowers our vibrations, or intends us harm, causes us chaos, or drains us or blocks us of our flow of our blessings. We ask for the strength to walk away from whatever isn't meant for us, and for inner peace, harmony, and healthier connection. We call for more positive opportunities to open us up so that we are mentally, spiritually prepared to grow, heal, and send gratitude for the love and abundance that's coming our way. We send gratitude for the love and abundance that has already come our way this year. Mother Moon, may you shine your light upon my shadows, on my fear of failure, on my self-doubt, fear of judgment, my critical voice, my limiting beliefs. May you shine your light within me so I can see myself clearly. Your graceful energy I cleanse and I heal myself. I release all the energies that no longer serve my higher purpose. I cut the cord connecting me to the trauma and pain I endured in this life and in others. I heal completely under your glow, and I'm filled with your soothing, renewing my mind, my soul. I stand in front of your light, your welcoming joy, your love, your abundance, and your light. I release all doubt, and I release all fear. I release all pain. I stand in the power of Aries flow over me. I am powerful. I am free. I am grateful. I am enlightened. I am ready to release. I trust in my soul's purpose. I trust in my identity, and I trust who I am. I want you guys to really take a moment and focus on releasing any and all patterns and behaviors and things in your life that no longer serve your highest good. Whether you say them out loud to yourself now, whether you energetically release them, I want you to at least pull forth 3 right now to be able to release them. I will give you a minute to fully pull them forth and release them and let them. This bright white full moon, I choose to cleanse myself and release all. I release limiting beliefs. I release pain and suffering. I release fears, doubts, and insecurity. I release obstacles in my path, and I release those relationships that no longer serve my highest good. I release situations and energies that no longer serve me. And I now choose to release all I ask that all of it be transmuted to healing. Sure to ask yourself, and calling in and focusing on the I am and the power of yours. Passion, the fire, the motivation, the courage, confidence. I want you to really, really align with being bold, courageous. I want you to focus and harness on what that would look like in your life right now. I call for everybody within this circle to be able to invoke the spirit within them, to be able to unleash all of their untapped potential, to remind them that they're ready to break through all of their remaining obstacles. Call for them to be able to transform into thriving opportunities to learn. Call for everybody within the circle to have the ability to succeed in every single one of their individual endeavors. I call for everybody within the circle to be able to be successful in helping others in their community reach them. Call for everybody to be able to fully understand what fuels them and drives them. Call for everybody to be able to look to see where they've been impulsive, where those impulsivities have created bad habits that need to be released and let go, that are not allowing us to reach our highest good, fulfill our soul's purpose, and our sacred contracts. Really, really focus on unhealthy habits that you can release. You to look inwards to be able to pull it from internal to external. How has your anger and your temper and your fire and your passion negatively affected those? Really, really looking. Really pull at that string. It may be uncomfortable to touch, maybe hard to touch. How has your temper, fire, passion, your impulsivity, your abrasiveness, how has that negatively affected those? Please let it go. And know that it's okay that you did that. We're going to do our very best to release it. The light of the fiery moon, we embrace our power. We are going to harvest soon in the Aries flame. Rise with our might of manifesting our dreams. We're igniting our lights with gratitude and passion. We sow the seeds of abundance that flows, that is fulfilling each and every one of our needs. We bless this harvest moon to illuminate each and one of our ways and to empower each and every one of our spirits. Sacred day and I call back the gatekeepers, the guardians. I call back the gatekeepers and guardians of below, all those interdimensional from below and above, ascended masters, ascended teachers, deities, ancestors. I call back the direction of south, call back the direction of east. I call back the direction of north. I call back the direction of west. I call back the direction and not direction. I call back the archetype energy of Aries. Call back and I set you free and hope that you continue to see us the rest of this cycle. I thank each and every one of the guardians and gatekeepers, spirits, and guide and ascended masters that were here with us tonight. I thank you for the protection, the guidance, and the energy you provided. I release you. I can't wait to see you again. Amen. Oh, so loaded is. Okay. I hope everybody had a very awesome ceremony. I hope you guys got some stuff out of that shadow work. I hope you felt the energy that you needed to. I hope my energy is able to purify anything that you needed. I definitely did feel some intense stuff I pulled from some people. So if you felt some weight lifted, there it was intentional. Is there any questions, any comments, anything anybody wants to say before we call it a night and people can either go do their own ceremony stuff tonight or tomorrow, whatever everybody's gonna do? No questions or comments? Okay, awesome. You guys are super welcome. Oh, Michelle. It makes my heart so happy. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it just does, because that means that like you really got to feel what you needed to feel. And crying is so important. I know a lot of people don't like doing it, but it is so important. You guys are so welcome. I absolutely love doing this for you. I absolutely love it. And I will continue to do it. So I cannot wait to see you guys at the next one. Thank you guys. Have a really good rest of your evening.
Thank you, Kelsey, and we'll see you next time.
Dark Goddess devotionals are on Sunday.
Okay.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.